Every single day, your brain is silently making thousands of tiny decisions. Should you keep focusing on that important task, or should you chase something easier, something instantly gratifying? And here's the unsettling truth. For most of us, your incredible brain, designed to conquer mountains and create masterpieces, is losing that battle. It's being silently, systematically hacked. Do you ever feel like starting a project feels like climbing Everest? Even small workouts are a monumental effort. Or that book you used to devour now just makes you yawn. It's not your fault. It's not a lack of willpower, and it's certainly not a moral failing. What you're experiencing is something called dopamine downregulation, and it's quietly sabotaging your potential, your focus, and yes, even your happiness. But what if I told you that discipline could become not just easy, but genuinely enjoyable? What if I told you that laser-sharp focus isn't a superpower, but your natural state, just waiting to be reclaimed? In this video, we're not just scratching the surface of the science behind lost motivation. We're diving deep into a step-by-step roadmap to rewire your brain. You'll learn exactly how to take back control, find deep joy in meaningful activities, and finally, truly live a life of authentic freedom. Stay tuned, because the secret to an unstoppable you is closer than you think. Your brain, believe it or not, operates on a very ancient, very primal economic principle: energy efficiency. Think of it like this. Your brain is always calculating the return on investment of its energy. High effort, uncertain reward, your brain hits the brakes. Low effort, guaranteed pleasure, green light, full speed ahead. This isn't a flaw, it's a survival mechanism hardwired over millennia. Back in the savannah, chasing a mammoth was high effort, high risk. Sniffing out easy berries, low effort, immediate reward. Your ancestors needed that instant gratification loop to survive. But here's where the system gets exploited. We live in a world where thousands of the brightest minds are working tirelessly to give you low-effort, guaranteed pleasure. From the infinite scroll of social media to hyper-palatable snacks, from binge-worthy shows to one-click online shopping, these aren't just products. They're meticulously engineered dopamine delivery systems. They're designed to give your brain that easy berry over and over again with zero effort on your part. Your brain isn't broken. It's been expertly, cunningly hacked. Did you know the average American now spends over 5 hours a day staring at their phone screen? And that number skyrockets for those of us between 18 and 34? This isn't accidental. It's the result of armies of engineers and behavioral scientists making sure you can't look away. Now, let's clear up a massive misconception about dopamine. It's not actually the pleasure chemical, it's the desire chemical. Dopamine spikes not when you get the reward, but when you anticipate it. Every time you open TikTok, you're not getting a dopamine hit from the content itself. You're getting one from the anticipation of potentially seeing something funny, shocking, or engaging. It's a constant gamble, and your brain is flooded with dopamine, urging you to keep searching for that next little hit. But here's the catch. Too many easy dopamine hits lead to something called dopamine downregulation. Imagine your brain has little receptors, like dimmer switches for dopamine. When you constantly bombard it with easy, high-intensity stimuli, your brain, in an effort to maintain balance, literally turns down those dimmer switches. It reduces the number and sensitivity of your dopamine receptors. So now, that beloved book that once captivated you for hours feels boring. That challenging workout that used to energize you feels impossible. Why? Because your brain now needs a far greater stimulus just to register interest. This is the definition of tolerance. This is why people who spend the most time on social media often feel the most unmotivated. Their brains have been conditioned to expect reward with no effort, rendering anything requiring true effort utterly unappealing. But there's a massive silver lining, and it's called neuroplasticity. Your brain is not fixed. It's constantly rewiring itself based on your choices. Every single choice you make, every time you pick up your phone or choose to focus, you're strengthening a neural pathway, either for discipline or for distraction. And just as your brain can downregulate its dopamine receptors, it can also upregulate them. This is where the dopamine detox comes in. A dopamine detox isn't about eliminating dopamine entirely. That's impossible and dangerous. It's about consciously removing those overwhelming, artificial sources of stimulation that have hijacked your brain's reward system. Think of it like a reset button for your internal dimmer switch. When you deliberately step away from easy pleasures, the endless scroll, the instant gratification of junk food, passive entertainment, something profound happens. Your dopamine receptors, starved of their usual high-intensity input, begin to upregulate. They become more numerous, more sensitive, and more receptive. Suddenly, activities that once felt dull, a quiet walk, a conversation with a friend, reading a physical book, begin to feel genuinely engaging, even exciting. Many people fail at this because they rely solely on willpower, which is a finite resource. The real secret is understanding the transition period. When you first cut off those easy dopamine hits, you'll feel agitated, restless, even anxious. This isn't a sign of failure, it's a sign that the detox is working. This discomfort is your brain's withdrawal symptoms, proof that it's beginning to rewire itself. Embrace that discomfort. See it as your brain healing, growing stronger, piece by piece. Discomfort is your brain rewiring. So, how do you actually do this? First, identify your empty calorie dopamine hits. These are the activities that require minimal effort but provide maximum transient stimulation. For most of us, it's our phone, social media apps, mindless browsing, games. It might also be excessive junk food, online shopping, pornography, or passive consumption of entertainment. What do you find yourself reaching for when you're bored, stressed, or trying to avoid real work? Take a moment right now to consider, what's your biggest empty dopamine hit? Share it in the comments below. You might inspire someone else. Next, you need to temporarily remove these identified sources. You don't need to ban them forever, just for a focused period. For a true reset, aim for at least 3 days. 7 days is ideal for noticeable changes, and 14 days can be genuinely transformative. Pick a time frame you can commit to. And if a full 7-day digital disappearing act isn't realistic for you, try a mini detox. Dedicate the first hour after waking and the last hour before bed to be completely phone-free. Or implement a news-free Tuesday once a week. Flexibility is key to sustainability. While you're removing, you must also replace. Replace those high dopamine, low effort activities with low dopamine, high satisfaction activities. Think reading a physical book, cooking a meal from scratch, taking a walk without headphones, exercising without music, journaling, or having a real deep conversation. The magic here is that your brain starts to learn to anticipate reward from these new, meaningful activities. After a few days of reading, your brain learns that opening a book leads to the quiet satisfaction of learning or getting lost in a story. It begins to release dopamine in anticipation of these positive, productive endeavors. This brings us to a crucial distinction: pleasure versus satisfaction. Pleasure is immediate, fleeting, often external, and requires little to no effort. Think a sugar rush, a viral video, a new notification. Satisfaction, however, is slow-burning, enduring, internal, and comes from effort. It's the feeling after completing a challenging project, the pride of a hard-earned workout, or the deep contentment from a meaningful connection. Modern life is overflowing with pleasure, but it's starving us of true satisfaction. And here's the scientific kicker. Satisfaction generates a far more robust cocktail of neurochemicals, including dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins. That runner's high after pushing your limits, that's satisfaction, flooding your system with feel-good chemicals in a healthy, sustainable way. The neuroscience of delayed gratification is clear. Choosing discipline, choosing to wait for the reward, activates your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, self-control, and executive function. Instant gratification, on the other hand, fires up your limbic system, your impulsive, primal brain. Every time you choose the harder, more rewarding path, you're literally strengthening the most evolved parts of your brain. Discipline stops being a struggle and becomes your default, preferred state. The benefits after a successful detox are profound. Imagine waking up with boundless energy, a sharp mind, and a sense of clarity you haven't felt in years. You'll find an increased ability to focus, make quicker decisions, and discover genuine enthusiasm for tasks that once felt like heavy burdens. You'll feel a sense of agency, that you're truly in the driver's seat of your life. Sarah, that 30-year-old software developer we mentioned, told us that after 5 days of a social media detox, she was shocked to find herself coding for hours without checking her phone once. She felt like she'd reclaimed her brain and that her work transformed from a chore into a creative joy. Now, this isn't a one-and-done solution. Your brain will always have a tendency to seek the path of least resistance. The trick is to design your life so that discipline is the path of least resistance. This means designing your environment. Create a phone-free zone in your bedroom. Buy an old-fashioned alarm clock and charge your phone in the living room. Use app blockers or even a timed lockbox for your devices. Make those high dopamine activities inconvenient to start, and those satisfying activities easy to begin. Put your workout clothes out the night before. Keep healthy snacks visible and hide the junk food. And don't underestimate the power of your social environment. The people around you significantly influence your baseline dopamine levels. Surround yourself with individuals who value focus, deep work, and meaningful pursuits, rather than constant distraction and instant gratification. Join a community, find an accountability partner, or simply cultivate friendships that inspire you to be your best self. You might be thinking, why choose the harder path? From the perspective of a hacked brain, discipline looks harder. But from the perspective of a recalibrated brain, discipline is actually the easier path. Why? Because distraction leaves you feeling empty, restless, and constantly seeking more. The path of least resistance in the short term is almost always the path of most resistance in the long term. You were not born to be a slave to algorithms and impulses. You were born to do hard things and to love doing them. True freedom isn't endless choices. It's having a brain that works for you, not against you. Imagine waking up energized, excited about your work, and going to bed with a profound sense of accomplishment instead of guilt. That's the life waiting for you on the other side of this. This isn't about perfection. It's about making a series of conscious choices. The rewiring process never truly ends, but after you hit that reset button, those choices become dramatically easier. You'll cultivate intrinsic motivation, the desire to do things because they are inherently satisfying, not for external rewards. That is the highest form of discipline, and it's within your reach. So here's your call to action. Don't just watch this video and scroll away. Make one decision right now. What is the single biggest empty dopamine hit in your life? Commit to eliminating it for the next 7 days. Journal your journey. Observe the changes. Your brain is ready to be reprogrammed. Are you ready to reclaim it? Hit that like button if you're ready to take back control. Subscribe for more content on optimizing your mind and life, and let me know in the comments how your detox journey begins. The best version of you is waiting.